Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Bree, also known as Honey Bree if you follow me over on Instagram. And as you can tell from the title of this video, I'll be sharing with you guys my 6-week postpartum update after baby number 2. I want to go ahead and preface that this video is not being made and shared for comparison reasons. I in no way, shape, or form believe anybody should compare their bodies to others just because every single body is different. And what I did during pregnancy and after pregnancy may be completely different than what you are doing, and even if we did end up doing the same things, our bodies would still be different because they just are different. So I definitely ask that you please love and respect your own body and do not compare it to mine. Starting off, I want to talk about the differences between my first pregnancy versus my second. In my first pregnancy, I did not do a lot of extra exercise. At the time, I was working at an outdoor restaurant where I was getting anywhere from 10,000 to 12,000 steps per shift. I kind of depended mostly on that as my source of physical activity. I wanted to take it easy on myself and just let my body do what it was going to do. And also I wasn't really working out prior to getting pregnant, so I didn't want to jump back into anything that I wasn't doing right before I got pregnant, just to stay on the safe side. So I would say I was pretty lax during that pregnancy compared to my second pregnancy. If you guys have not seen my pregnancy bulking video and all the things that I discussed within that, I will link it in the cards up here. But basically during the second pregnancy, I started working out probably around 20, 21, 22 weeks pregnant, because my first trimester, the second pregnancy, was pretty hectic. I was absolutely not in the mindset to be working out and to be focusing on doing so. But as the pregnancy progressed, I got my energy back. I felt better. I felt good. So I actually ended up going back to the gym, which was something I was doing prior to getting pregnant the second time, because that was something I picked back up shortly after my firstborn turned 1. Also, going into my first pregnancy, I was still kind of fresh on the mind of having disordered eating and wanting to eat and work out for aesthetic reasons only, and that was something that I absolutely wanted to squash, nip in the bud before I had the opportunity to progress into my first pregnancy. Because if there was anything I knew about pregnancy prior to my first, was that a lot of people look down on their own bodies and they get into this funk where they don't adjust well along with their bodies as they grow and as they change. And this is something that I already had prior experience with in terms of body dysmorphia. I wanted to make sure that my mindset was right. My mindset was in a much better place, and that I was ready to accept what was going to happen, what was already happening to my body, because that was never really something I was familiar with doing prior to getting pregnant. I definitely wanted to have that mindset shift, so I was ready and able to do that, and I wanted to continue that even after my baby was born, because I knew for some reason women's bodies go from these beautiful, glorious baby making machines to these soft, flabby, not so attractive bodies after the baby is born. So I definitely granted myself a lot more patience in terms of not getting back into a regular exercise routine and a more structured diet for the first year of my firstborn's life, because I really wanted to be comfortable in the body that I had just thrown a human with. My biggest goal was to find peace at where I was at the moment, and to just appreciate myself, to love my body and to meet her where she was, and to not want to change anything about her. Going into my second pregnancy, I kind of already knew that that was going to be my last pregnancy. Knowing that, in addition to already being at peace and finding that peace in my body and what it can do, I definitely wanted to get back into more of a routine in terms of exercise and diet this time around, because my labor experience with my first was absolutely awful, to say the least. I was induced and it was just a whole thing. I have a video on it. If you haven't seen it, I recommend watching that. I was interested in what I was hearing about working out consistently during your pregnancy potentially helping reduce labor length, potentially making it better. So I picked up weight training after my first trimester, when I felt like I was finally at a point to have the energy and the time to go to the gym, up until about, I think, 32, 33 weeks. But yeah, when I compare my first pregnancy to my second, my first pregnancy, my biggest goals were to change my mindset and to fall in love with the body that I was in. But now I'm at a point where I want to challenge myself to get back into shape, because now I have 2 beautiful babies that I would love to keep up with. At some point, we would like to put them in sports, let them try out different things. My husband and I are both retired soccer players, and athletics have always been a big part of our lives. lives, so we want to pass that on to our children, and I would like to be able to keep up with them. You know, I don't want to go out there and be scared that I'm going to throw my back out or bust my knee. Like, I want to know I can be out there with them type of thing. I'm not necessarily looking to get in shape so I can go join a team or anything like that. If that happens, that's cool, you know. But at the moment, if I were to go do anything like that, I could possibly throw out my back because I'm just not in that kind of shape anymore. And that's okay. That's something that I have totally accepted. I've totally come to love. I was previously an athlete in my previous life, my non-mom life, and now I would like to be somewhat athletic in my mom life, you know. And I don't think that there's anything wrong with that, and I don't believe that there's anything wrong if you don't want to do that. To each their own. And to me, I think getting back into some sort of shape is a big part of what I would like to do. I will say that one thing I am not terribly focused on this go around is how my body looks. I think I'm attractive. My husband thinks I'm attractive. And at the end of the day, I honestly couldn't care less about what other people think about my body because I know what it's done, I know what it's doing, and I know what it can do. And that's all that really matters. So that is where I currently am. I did want to make this video and to share my current body state because this is kind of like my day zero. I am actually 6 weeks postpartum this week. I now am at a point where I can go back to the gym and I feel comfortable going back to the gym because that's also a big part of postpartum that a lot of people don't talk about. The 6-week point after labor and delivery is not a one size fits all, everybody's ready to go at the same pace. I know plenty of people who did not feel comfortable doing much of anything still at 6 weeks. Everybody's recovery is different. Some people will recover faster than others. So to expect everyone to be at the same point by 6 weeks is just unrealistic. If you're at the 6-week point and you're not feeling like I'm feeling right now, then that is perfectly fine. That is totally okay. Take as much time as you need. Nothing is more important than feeling completely ready. I also would like to mention that in my first pregnancy, I believe my starting weight was around 156, 157. And at the time that I checked into the hospital to deliver, I was, I believe, 208. By the time that I fell pregnant with my second baby, I was sitting at about 186. Still holding on to about 30 pounds of what I had gained in my previous pregnancy. When I checked in to deliver, again, I was at 108. So my top weight in pregnancy was about 208, and my pre-pregnancy, pre-mom body was sitting at about 156. My goals in terms of weight is to, one, not stress shredding any weight. What I see on the scale is kind of irrelevant to me because I would rather feel good, and if that means that I'm still sitting at like 186, 170, whatever the number is going to be, that's just where I'm gonna be. Like I said, my biggest goal right now is to feel good, and if I feel good, I know I'm gonna look good. So the number I see on the scale cannot mean less to me. And then another thing that comes with pregnancy we all experience is change in body composition. When you are pregnant and you are growing a baby, your body tends to create and hold a lot of fat, and your muscle tone can go down depending on, you know, what you do throughout your pregnancy. I tried to avoid the muscle tone loss in my second pregnancy, but I did not care much about it in my first, and I can tell because I felt like my body was a lot softer after my first pregnancy than it is now. That was a goal of mine during my second pregnancy, was to try to maintain, if not gain, muscle tone. That way when I did have my baby and I was getting back into the gym, I wouldn't be starting as far back as I would have. And another thing that comes with pregnancy is stretch marks. What I'm understanding mostly when it comes to stretch marks is they're genetic. I even have stretch marks from puberty. I knew I was very prone to them. In my first pregnancy, I did not see any visible stretch marks during my pregnancy, but once I had my baby and my belly was no longer stretched out, I could definitely see the stretch marks, especially around my belly button area. And then the second pregnancy, I believe it was around 35 weeks, I started to see visible bright pink stretch marks. He's so much bigger than Mason was, I feel like. This is my first like visible stretch mark pregnancy. These did not bother me whatsoever because, like I said, I kind of expected it, especially if it's already been said that they are genetic. And not only that, but I was really bad about moisturizing and putting those special creams or whatever on there because I really didn't have a lot of hope in those anyway. Really just did it when I felt like it. So now I will show you guys what my belly is currently looking like. Again, it is nothing to compare yourself to. This is strictly just a starting point for me, and also to share what the current state of my stomach is looking like after 2 pregnancies. So this is what it is currently looking like just in these pants. This is a waistband because, you know, that's just what feels the most comfortable, and I kind of look like I have abs here, but it is still very soft, so that's kind of cool. I feel like this is ribs. Yeah, that's like, you know, your rib mark or whatever. So And I will pull these down as far as I can go. So you will see that my line is still pretty dark, and then I have very much visible stretch marks right here. I'm very soft still at 6 weeks postpartum, which is totally to be expected. But you can see like right here, this is a new stretch mark that I got from my second pregnancy, and I can't really see any more right this second on my little camera screen, but I also have, you know, some extra skin and room. I have extra room still in my body and some fat that I would eventually like to lose. But yeah, this is the current state of my body. Again, I am very proud of what my body has accomplished, creating two beautiful little human beings, and that is honestly the top end goal in my opinion. Nothing else can top that. Nothing else can take away from that. If you made it this far into the video, I want to say thank you so much for watching. Know that your body is beautiful just the way it is. I believe my body is beautiful just the way it is, and I'm so excited to see where my journey takes me from here. I'm curious to know, what's your best advice for postpartum mamas? I would love to hear them in the comments below. I'd love to spread as much postpartum positivity as possible. I know mentally it can be a very difficult time. Pregnancy in general can be a very difficult time, mentally, physically, and emotionally. So if y'all can do me a favor, please leave some kind words in the comments below. And if you have enjoyed watching this video, please give it a thumbs up, give it a like, because it really supports my channel. And don't forget to subscribe if you would like to see more mamahood and lifestyle content from me, and I will see you guys in the next one. Always remember that your body is beautiful and you are amazing and you are capable. Bye.